I feel the Spirit moving in me. I feel the Spirit moving in me.
Well, this idea of surrender, we know surrender has many meanings, and this is not the surrender that's defeat. It's not that egoic surrender when we're so attached to marching our crusade, and then someone's got to raise the red flag and say surrender. This is a spiritual surrender, and from that we know the truth. I wanted to start off by introducing you to Dr. Paul and Max Oliger. I had the great pleasure and honor to call them friends. Dr. Paul was an early member of Alcoholics Anonymous, and he actually has a chapter in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous called Acceptance is the Answer. And I thought part of his story is a compelling one for this surrender. He says, "It helped me a great deal to become convinced that alcoholism was a disease, not a moral issue. That I had been drinking as a result of a compulsion, even though I was not aware of the compulsion at the time. And that sobriety was not a matter of willpower. The people of Alcoholics Anonymous, AA, had something that looked much better than what I had. But I was afraid to let go of what I had in order to try something new. There was a certain sense of security in the familiar. At last, acceptance proved to be the key to my drinking problem. After I'd been around AA for 7 months, tapering off alcohol and pills, and not finding the program working all that well for me, I was finally able to say, okay, God, it is true that I, of all people, strange as it may seem, and even though I didn't give my permission, really am an alcoholic of sorts. And it's all right with me. Now, what am I going to do about it? When I stopped living the problem, I began living the answer, and the problem went away. From that moment on, I have not had a single compulsion to drink." Dear Paul passed away in the year 2000, and his beautiful wife, Max, died in 2001. So that's why I can give away his last name, but I certainly love the two of them. So these unity ministers, Richard and Marius Jofola, have written about this, and this is very compelling. If we didn't have the power to reject and renunciate unwanted, undesirable, no longer useful ideas, beliefs, and attitudes from our consciousness, we would never develop into our full potential. We have the power to let go. Now, in parts of the world, when you want to catch a monkey, they take a jar or something, attach it to something solid that will not move. They place a fruit into the jar. The monkey comes along, goes, "Ooh, I want that!" Reaches in to grab the fruit and can't get his hand out. Caught the monkey. There can be fruit in all of the trees laying on the ground and will not let go of this fruit. Ever been the monkey? Holding on. Believe me, monkey's not going to be free anymore, and neither are we until we let go. And we have the power to let go. Isn't that good, Kurt? I like that. Now, Deepak Chopra, one of our mainstream guys that has lots of truth going, says, in order to acquire anything in the physical universe, you have to relinquish your attachment to it. What's he talking about? I have to let go before I can receive? Yep. It's kind of like if you want to get something new, you got to take away something so there's space for it to be. So in this universe, in the physical universe, it's always changing, always in motion. There's something about this, if we're fixated, like Paul, being a little compulsive about drinking and drugs, can't find healing, can't find recovery, can't find the new home, can't find the new partner until we let go our attachment to it. Now, what are some of the reasons we might be attached to it? Eckhart Tolle says, always say yes to the present moment. Surrender to what is. Say yes to life and see how life suddenly starts working for you, then against you. Isn't this true in Paul's story? When he finally could come to even the willingness of possibly accepting that he might be an alcoholic of sorts, it began a whole new journey. It opened a door to a new way of being where then life shows up working for us. We're in alignment with life. Where when we're attached and only focus, it's got to be like this. My new partner's going to be tall and going to be this and going to be that and wealthy and it's going to be this. You can be so fixated on that perfect idea, the egoic attachment of it's got to be that way, that a fabulous partner could come right by, say hello, and you won't even see them. Do you see that our attachment to it, rather than saying yes to what is, and then letting our creativity and our willingness to guide us to what's next? I've done a lot of work with Byron Katie. Oh, she's great. And she says, the only time we suffer is when we believe a thought that argues with what is. Boy, is it true. It's true in my life. Whenever I'm feeling pain, struggle, chaos, drama of some way, shape, or form, it's my belief of I don't want it this way, it can't be this way, I find this unacceptable, causes my suffering. Now there may be pain, but it's just pain. But why overlay it with a whole bunch of suffering? Doesn't make sense to me, but I do it. But I'm learning with this powerful unity teaching that I can choose to surrender. Reverend Ken Daigle is the minister at Unity San Francisco, and he's done a lot of writing about this. It says, until there is surrender to what is, you are trapped by your own resistance, chained to your own belief that you can fight reality. Wrestle. Dr. Paul O., going back to him from his chapter on acceptance, says, and the answer, and acceptance is the answer to all my problems today. When I am disturbed, it is because I find some person, place, thing, or situation, some fact in my life unacceptable to me. And I can find no serenity until I accept that person, place, or thing as being exactly the way it's supposed to be at this moment. Nothing, absolutely nothing happens in God's world by mistake. Until I accept my alcoholism, I could not stay sober. And unless I accept life completely on life's terms, I cannot be happy. I need to concentrate not so much on what needs to be changed in the world as what needs to be changed in me and my attitudes. Wow. I think Dr. Paul understands this concept. And it's revealing a greater truth for me. Because we learn in layers. As Eckhart Tolle continues to say, it does not mean to passively put up with whatever situation you find yourself in and to do nothing about it, nor does it mean to cease making plans or initiate positive action. What do you mean? You mean I have to let go and completely release all attachment to the outcome, but I can still make plans? Yes, because that's where the creative juices are. But let's not go to the mind thinking egoically, oh, they're going to love me if I have that car. Rather, wow, I can feel what it's going to be like sitting behind the wheel of that car. And what I can do in great service in that car. But if I get more attached to the car, like the car's God, I might have to let go of it. But I can make plans and know, right now, I'm looking for a full-time job. And what I'm doing first is I'm knowing how it feels getting ready to go to work. And feeling just how I feel getting ready to go. And then when I'm at work, what I feel at work, how it feels to be connected and involved and engaged. And what it feels like when I leave work. How does my body feel? How clear is my mind? What does my heart feel? And boy, my new job feels real good. I'm initiating some positive action. I already know the right and perfect job to match that energy is already there for me. Do you get it? Now, Teresa of Avila from Spain, 16th century Catholic mystic, powerful writings. If you've never read Teresa of Avila, I recommend her. We can only learn to know ourselves and do what we can, namely surrender our will and fulfill God's will in us. So surrendering that self-will, the one that's not connected with reality, but the expectations and assumptions and those ideas of gotta, have to. I want. To surrendering to the will of God, whether you give the name God or Spirit or love, that divine identity within us that's always with us, giving us the guidance whenever we ask, and even when we don't ask. Ken continues to say that true surrender is the ability to acknowledge the reality you're living in, and from that point of acceptance, to begin to move out of it. And one of the ways that we in unity move out of a situation is by claiming an affirmation, by claiming a higher truth. And one of the truths is the recap of today's talk. 3 steps to surrender. Let go. So this is back to we're not going to be free until we let go completely. Let go of the expectation, the assumption. It might be letting go of a dire situation, or they sold the house that I'm renting and I've got to move. I'm in a predicament if I just won't move. Accepting what is. Accepting fully that what is. We don't have to like it, but we can accept it. And from acceptance, we are on a road where we can actually experience joy, happiness, connection. Where once we were trapped. It's the story of Exodus. Once they were slaves in Egypt, and now they're free. And in the desert, they find themselves in freedom, and then they want to have Big Mac and fries. But there's manna from heaven always provided. God's always going to provide. Surrender is our path to freedom. And that's where we need to live in faith. Reside in our heart, talk to others, look on Craigslist, follow directions, get some exercise, accept what is, and then live in the faith that all is working out in divine order. All is being satisfied because now we're free. Because like the butterfly, going into that cocoon, there's no preconceived idea of what freedom looks like. Caterpillar cannot know what the transformation's going to be, and neither will we. We don't know what the future's going to be for us because it's not here yet. And guess what? The future never gets here. And the past is gone forever. So we're only have now. So let's live it now with letting go, accepting it just as it is, and having faith. Let's say that affirmation one more time together. Surrendering to God, I am safe and fulfilled. And from the resonance of that affirmation, let's get comfortable. And if you're comfortable closing your outer eyes, maybe setting aside anything in your hands. And breathe. And allow. Let go of everything that's happened before this moment. Accept where you are, who you're sitting next to, that it's Sunday. Accept it just as it is. And then turn within and connect with that divine essence within. And listen to the still small voice that's always available as we take a moment in the silence. Sweet, loving Spirit, we are so grateful for our ever increasing awareness of our oneness with you. As we come back into this room, we say thank you. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. And so it is.
Where I live, there are rain.